The polls open in Kansas and Missouri in less than 48 hours. And, just because it's not a presidential election year doesn't mean important issues aren't on the ballot. Some of them could affect the next decade of life in the metro. There is a big item affecting transportation up for a vote in Kansas City. Tuesday, voters will decide if they'll keep a 3/8-cent sales tax to support public transit. In the last 10 years, it generated more than $300 million for the Kansas City Area Transportation Authority.
I think what's important for us is to make sure as we're building out new fancy routes and bridges and streetcars that we're taking care of the basics like the city bus.
If approved, the sales tax would continue for another 10 years. And right now it expires in March. Leaders say that sales tax makes up about 30% of the KCATA budget. And without it, bus service would have to be cut drastically. It is just one of many important issues and races up for grabs on Election Day. So let's get you prepared with KMBC 9 political reporter Michael Mahoney. Let's talk about this. County and city leaders are really pushing for an extension of this tax. Do you see it continuing?
It probably will be continued, I would think, simply because it's been in place for a while. Voters are familiar with it. It's not a new tax. They're simply renewing a tax that's on the ballot. However, we're talking about $421 million. And as you mentioned, it's 30% of the ATA budget. They also have another half-cent sales tax in Kansas City, Missouri that contributes a lot of money to that. The interesting thing about this is that there has been some pushback, especially north of the river on this thing. The presiding commissioners in Clay and Platte County say they feel that downtown and City Hall are not selecting representatives to the ATA board that truly reflect the Northland interest in this. And in fact, they've gone out so far as to say maybe Northland voters should not be renewing this tax. They ought to vote no on this. They also say that the Northland is underrepresented when it comes to bus service. And they think that that should be something that should be addressed. And then the other thing is to remember that bus service in Kansas City, Missouri right now doesn't have a fare on it. It's free. And some people are saying, well, if you've got a potential financial issue coming up here, why don't you go back to charging fares? So we'll have to see where this goes. But like I say, I think that because it's an existing tax, voters have supported it in the past, and that the fact that it'll be a fairly light turnout, that it's got a good shot. But there are questions being raised about it. No doubt.
Sure, we'll be watching closely. Of course, mass transit tax just one of many tax issues before voters. A few cities have marijuana sales tax items on the ballot. We know Jackson County and Parkville have questions on local use taxes, really just hoping to cash in on purchases made from sellers who are out of the county or out of the state. With so many people shopping online nowadays, that could be huge, but I know Parkville has tried 3 other times to get this going.
Right, and it is, I think it's, there's some pushback on the fact that it's a sin tax and that marijuana, while it's accepted in a lot of areas right now, may not be accepted in others. And then the other thing about it is simply that it is a tax, and nobody wants their taxes raised. So
when we talk about voter turnout in kind of these off election years, how does that affect tax issues typically?
It affects all issues in the sense that there are just very few voters that make a decision on what's going to be happening at the local level. And I say this all the time. You may have an opinion about the president, you may have an opinion about the Congress, but the rubber hits the road in a local election because you're deciding the city council members and the local policies that affect you every day. Everything from the lights, the street lights on your street, to garbage pickup, to zoning, property taxes, all those sorts of things. So these local elections are very, very important because it's where the rubber hits the road for most folks.
Let's talk about some of those elections, especially city council races in Johnson County and the effect that housing plays in those.
Yeah. All across the municipal election board in Johnson County in particular, there seems to be 2 or 3 general themes here. Number one is what they're going to do for housing, property taxes, and zoning. And Prairie Village has probably been the center of this. They have got their own plan for housing in the future that is in progress right now, but it's been getting a lot of pushback from a number of folks who believe that they're worried that the housing affordability is an issue, and that big homes are going into smaller lots that A, is raising the property taxes, and B, some folks that have single dwelling homes are fearful that there's going to be a duplex or a triplex or a fourplex that a developer will put in next door to them. Now, the folks on the city council say that's not going to happen, but it's a concern in Prairie Village, and it's also being heard as a concern in a lot of these local elections that are on the ballot in Johnson County. And watching Prairie Village on Tuesday night and their results, and then the other results in the other elections in Miriam, Fairway, Overland Park, Lenexa, all of them have these same themes running about how do we address the housing stock, how do we protect zoning and protect our residents now, and to some degree what they can do with property taxes.
Right. Well, when it's cheaper to rent than to get a mortgage.
Exactly.
I mean, that's
Which
saying
it is
something.
it is the case in some places right now.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. Michael Mahoney,
right.
Thank you very much. Remember, KMBC 9 News is your home for Commitment 2023 coverage. Look for reminders of the biggest issues on your ballot, election results, and in-depth analysis on air and online at KMBC.com and on our KMBC 9 News app.